Nice run and a good one. Williams outside. 15 keeps his feet. And Williams finds the end zone. And he is in for a touchdown. On second down, here's a toss. Here is Lucas. Jalen Lucas, that great speed. Keeps his feet. Inside the 30. Lucas, 10, 5. Touchdown, Indiana. It's Henderson cutting back and finding the end zone. Touchdown, Indiana.
Welcome to the LEO podcast presented by Big Banter. I'm your host and new intro mixing machine, Michael Bragg. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Braggley, Braggley. No Brandon today, which means it's just me and the producer, Seth. If you haven't blocked him on Twitter, do it now. It's at SETAH5, SETAH5. Seth, what's up?
Smell that? It's football season.
I do. It is football season, baby. It's finally here. Week 0 did not count in my books. I really didn't. I just watched the team from up north play against Navy. I had money on Navy. That's the only reason I watched it. Didn't enjoy it. Thought it was a really bad game of football. Just basically on Navy's part. And then I didn't watch anything else. No, you know what? I did. I lie. I watched a lot of CBS Sportsnet. Or what's it called now? Not CBS. Is that what it's called? CBS Sports Network? I watched a lot of I watched some FIU. I think they played week 0. Yeah, I'm just ready for the real stuff to start. And it's 2 days away. Actually, there's a game the day that we're going to release this pod, which is Thursday. That's Big Ten, right? Nebraska, Minnesota? I think so, yeah. So, yeah, there we go. Guys, welcome to the Week 1 preview of the Week 1 game. So we'll get right to it here in just a minute, and I'll kind of go over what we have as kind of a newer format, more smooth, I think, kind of right to the point. We're not going to bore you with all the same stuff we've already talked about in our preview a few episodes ago. If you guys want me to, I can get that for you. If not, just go back and we can give you the episode or find the episode at some point. Let me just do that. I'm just going to do it now. If you guys want to go back and listen to more of an in-depth thing on Ohio State, it is episode 141 we did back in June. So they have all the same players. They name their starting quarterback, which we'll talk about, which is the guy we already talked about. Yeah. What do you mean? They named him?
It's like
they named him.
Right.
They're going to run 2 quarterbacks. We'll talk about it in a minute. We'll just wait for it. Before we do that, we'll get the housekeeping and the news and everything else out of the way. I did not listen to the radio show today, but I'm assuming week 1 you're not going to get a whole lot of stuff out of Coach Allen. So we'll save the radio clips and everything else like that for next week and the press conference stuff. But right for it, again, website's up, ready to go, podcastleo.com. Website and store are live. We have the sale going on, week 1 sale, 25% off all merch. It's a good deal. So check it out. There's no promo code needed. It's all right there. Again, if you guys want to swing by the tailgate, pick up your merch, you can do that. If you just want to swing by the tailgate and say hi, you can. I'll be the only one out there this week. But that doesn't mean that we won't have shots and beers and everything else to come out and see. So we'll go over that towards the end of the pod on where to find me and how to find me. And if you forget it after this pod is released, we will also put it on Twitter for you guys too. So Instagram and Threads are live. Make sure you follow us. I think we're up to 60-something followers, which is roughly about a tenth of what we have on Twitter. So there's no reason why you guys can't follow us on Instagram. It's at Podcast LEO. 100th follower on Instagram wins a free t-shirt. We get nothing for this. Nothing. We just want to eventually bring some live content, some clips from video and stuff like that, so you can see our mugs on the Instagram too. Patreon's still there as well. 20% discount on all merch. It's $5 a month for Patreon. You don't have to listen to what the MTC promo. You never have to listen to that again. If you enjoy it, thanks. Buy some of their stuff. But if you don't, you just pay $5 a month. You'll never have to listen to it again. You'll have exclusive player interviews. And we'll do some other fun stuff during the season too that'll just be on Patreon, as well as 20% all year round discount on the merch. So check that out as well. Let's get right into it. Sethers, game 1, week 1, IU, Ohio State coming to Memorial Stadium on Saturday, ranked number 3 in the country. This one's going to be on CBS for the entire nation to watch at 3:30. The opening line, not great. I think this is kind of like these two teams are playing. We know this team has these players on it, and we don't know anything about the other team. They've lost 27 straight. Let's make Ohio State 30-point favorites. So that's where it's at right now. The line is minus 30 for Ohio State, over under 60. So do the math. They're not expecting IU to score a whole lot of points. So we'll see what happens. Again, I've said it all off season long. Brandon said it on the Ohio State podcast that he was on the other day. We don't know anything. So there you go. Let's do. Seth just threw something in the chat. I just saw it. We are going to start putting our friends over at Our Daunted, or I'm sorry. What is it? What is it? Often Daunted. Sorry. Often Daunted. Sorry. Often Daunted is being super cool, super awesome, and is making these cool images that kind of preview each opponent throughout the season. So, I mean, obviously listen to this podcast, but if you want kind of an in-depth thing, you can go back and reference just real quick as a picture. We'll have it on Instagram every week. So we will put that out with this podcast tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to see that. So pretty cool. And thank you so much for doing that. So let's get right into Ohio State, Seth. And this is kind of the new format that we're going to do. We're not going to bore you with the same stuff we've already talked about, bore you with the same players we've already talked about. We're just going to break down the opponent. And on week 1, it's going to be a little bit more general than what it will be as the season goes on and we learn more about these teams. But, basically outside of a few returning major players, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., you've got, is it Abuka?
Close
What's
enough.
his last name? Is that right?
Something
like that. With the other wide receiver that's really good, Tommy Eichenberg, TJ last name,
Alamolo.
Some good players. There you go. We'll talk about him in just a second. Some good players coming back. Trayvon Henderson, is that right too? Outside of that though, they've got some new players in some extremely key positions. 2 of which we should hopefully be able to expose, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth as we get through the pod. But the first one is Kyle McCord, which we already just talked about, being named as a starting quarterback. What does that mean, Seth? What does that mean to you, Kyle McCord, starting quarterback?
So they peppered him in over the last couple of seasons, and they were trying to get him ready for this exact moment. I think they want, is it Devin Brown, number 33, to be kind of the heir apparent. He's a redshirt freshman. I think they see him as the future, but they like to have a seasoned guy taking those opening snaps and hope that he takes the reign and shows that veteran leadership, because that's exactly what you need going on the road in the first game in a Big Ten game. The real thing you want is kind of a sturdy helm, a sturdy leader at the helm. And so I really think that Kyle McCord is going to give that first opening couple drives to try to establish that. And they'll try to sprinkle in the other guy here and there, but I think it's his job to lose. But in a perfect world, they're kind of feathering in Devin Brown to the point where maybe he can take over as the season goes on. But you expect Kyle McCord to be leaned on heavily as a veteran presence early in the season.
Yeah. And I did some research on Kyle McCord, not very much. I don't know much about him. Does he run?
He's a little bit of an all-around guy. He brings a little bit to a little bit of everything to the table. So again, he has not had a ton of exposure.
Not an overly,
and he's not going to wow you with athleticism, but he does enough and he's not going to wow you with size either. He just, he's kind of just a grab bag, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think he's a redshirt junior, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't know what he's been around for a little bit. So he's seen some good quarterbacks, or a good quarterback come through. Actually 2. I mean, if he's been around for 3 years, I want to say he's seen Fields and Stroud. So he's seen some good stuff. I think he committed a few years before he actually came to the school, like in his class. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, I mean, nothing else is like crazy. Like this guy is an elite athlete or amazing arm, or nothing jumps out like it does when you looked at like Justin Fields, who could kill you with his feet, kill you with his arm. CJ Stroud, who you never really expected to run much, which he didn't, but he was incredibly accurate and really good with the football. We don't know a whole lot about McCord, and we'll find out. And just to tell you, he's not any higher ranked than what Taven Jackson was out of high school. Again, doesn't mean a whole lot, just to kind of give you kind of a backup to that, a 4-star kid coming out of high school. I think he was a top 10 quarterback in the class, kind of the same thing as Jackson. I think Jackson was 11th or something in his class. So that's the Kyle McCord stuff. The one thing that bothers me, and it's going to come back to bite me, Seth, I think he doesn't wear the tight sleeves on the jersey. He's got kind of the Aaron, you know what I'm talking about? The Aaron Rodgers, like real loose sleeve going on.
It's a bad look.
Ugh, yeah, it is a bad look. But you know what? If you're good at football, I don't think it really matters. So I think based off of what Brandon has told us, they're going to try to run the football and run the football a lot. It's Tavon Henderson. Is that right? Okay, so Tavon is very good. I don't mean to say that to poo-poo on him or anything, but they've got kind of a dual threat back there too.
Yeah,
right?
Mayan Williams is the other guy.
Mayan Williams, that's right. So when Brandon was on the Ohio, I don't think they're called the Ohio podcast, the OHIO podcast, part of the Big Banter family. Check it out if you want to. Brandon was there, and I think we retweeted it. So check it out if you want to listen to Brandon on that podcast. They talked a lot about trying to force the run. I can see where that would work, especially with elite outside wide receivers. But does this help? If this is what they're going to do, but doesn't this help?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely simplifies things. Between Travion Henderson, Mayan Williams, they have two guys who can carry the ball 40 times per game. That's definitely what they'll probably lean on to just take a little bit of variability out of the quarterback's hands. But also, when you look at their wide receiver room, they have 4 top flight wide receivers. They have, Marvin Harrison Jr., they have Egbukwa, they have Julian Fleming, and then they have a freshman who they're super excited about, who I'm blanking on right now. It doesn't matter. He'll probably end up getting 2 touchdowns on 3 catches for 70 yards. But that's just kind of how they sprinkle in the guys. So they have a plethora of options available at the wide receiver position, and even Cade Stover at tight end. They have playmakers. It's just a matter of, do they have a quarterback they trust enough to get them the ball in space? And if they don't, they may as well lean on the run, because if you average 320 pounds up front, you have a lot of experience coming back, and 2 running backs who are capable of putting up 1,000 yards. You can be successful in that way and limit the exposure of a young quarterback.
Let me explain why I asked, does it help IU's defense? Now, granted, this could come back to backfire big time. I mean, they pound it, play action, touchdown. I mean, when you think of the weakness and the strength of this defense for IU, what we are expecting, what we're hearing out of fall camp, what we've seen, the strength is in the depth, is in the defensive line. The weakness is in the secondary. And you've got elite day one wide receiver, maybe a day one on the other side.
They have 2 first round. They have 2 first round wide receivers.
Yeah, and they want to run the football. I would take that equation all day. But it's gamesmanship, it's coach talk. We'll see what happens on Saturday. We talked to Marvin Harrison. They could be in for a big day. I don't know. I'm assuming we're not dumb enough to not game plan for these wide receivers, to not try to double team not probably the best wide receiver in the country. I mean, I don't want to say we've held him in check. We haven't let him go super nuts on us yet. And hopefully we can keep him from doing that again on Saturday. And then on their defense, everything kind of goes through the 2 guys I talked about, Tommy Eichenberg in the middle, in the linebacker position, the leader on the defense, and then Seth Boyd, JT last name, off the edge, one of the best edge rushers in the country. They're secondary, though, and we talked a little bit about it in the preview. their secondary's got some major pieces that are missing and have moved on that we don't know about. And again, go back and listen to that preview. I can't remember the episode name off the top of my head, but if you want to hear more in depth, but I think that's the area that you're going to have to expose, and it'll be interesting to see if we try to do that, because I don't see us throwing too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, from a pedigree standpoint, is they have the guys coming through the pipeline to fill those slots. They have Jordan Hancock, who's an elite cornerback. Yeah. They have Lathan Ransom, who from a safety perspective is about as athletic as it gets. They have Sonny Styles, who's a gigantic he's a 6'4", 230 hybrid safety linebacker type guy. So they have studs. It's just they don't have the seasoning. They don't have the experience. They don't have, years and years of the hype machine. Well, they do have the hype machine, I should say, but of the kind of, the PFF reports and saying that they're studs. And so these guys are probably going to be day 1, day 2 draft picks eventually. They just don't have the film yet. So you definitely want to take advantage of them the first game of the season, where maybe they're, a little bit raw still. They haven't had the full coaching that they need to develop over the course of a season. So if you can take advantage of them, game 1 is the game to do it. So while, again, it's kind of counterintuitive, where you would think early in the season you want to establish the running game. That's really a strength of the IU offense, you would hope. But really, if you're going to play to the weaknesses of the other team, maybe that means trying to throw the ball more, get the ball outside, and hope to take advantage of some inexperience.
Yeah, and we've got a big question section coming up. Thank you guys for reaching out on that and getting us some more content at the end of the pod here. And we'll talk about some different ways that I think both of us could see IU trying to use to try to expose our strengths on offense against maybe what some would consider a weakness on their defense. But before we do that, Seth, let's get right into, unless you have anything else you want to add on Ohio State now that we haven't already talked about. Before we do that, let's talk IU players to watch. And we're going to simplify this. I think last year we made it way too complicated. We tried to throw in a special teams player. We tried to do, it was always Chucky, occasional James Evans game. And then we realized that we had an All-American badass back there returning kicks, and it was just nothing but Jalen Lucas the entire time. So IU player to watch on offense, Seth.
I feel like I'm the one who always tries to go with an obscure guy or tries to go with something like in the trenches. But I'm going to be Mr. Obvious this time, and it's whoever plays quarterback. I think you and I have a good idea who that's going to be. We'll ultimately let that play out on Saturday. But I think what we're looking for ultimately from whoever that is for 2 P's. It's poise and positives. You want to show that you're inflappable. You don't get rattled by the moment or the pressure, and that you have things that you can take away going into next week that you can build off and say, even though it's Akron, even though it's Louisville, even though it's Western Kentucky, whoever it is on the schedule, Indiana State, we have the confidence to go out there and execute with that guy. So really what that's building off of is no turnovers. You want to make sure that if Ohio State ultimately wins the game, it's not because you're making it easy on them by giving them short fields. You want to make it because they had to overcome, 80-yard, 75-yard drives in order to score touchdowns, not because they were given the ball in a quarterback strip sack inside the 15 and, they're scoring 15-yard touchdowns all day long. So that's what I think is going to be a huge point of this game, is no turnovers, and that starts with poise, and that starts with building positive momentum at the quarterback position week 1.
Yeah, no matter who it is, of course. So, you left me the low-hanging fruit. That was actually my first choice too, but I'm going to go with Jalen Lucas. I mean, if you want to talk about elite talent on this team, he's got to be it. Especially on the offensive side, or somebody that's going to make a play with his feet, whether it be on special teams, probably through the offense as well. I think he's got to make 1 to 3 chunk plays, and one of those 1 to 3 chunk plays has to be a touchdown. I mean, and when I'm talking chunk plays, I'm talking 20, 30-yard plays. And they've got to be dynamic, game-changing, drive-altering plays, and I think that that's something that he can do for sure.
Defense. So I just want to piggyback off of that point to introduce my point is With Jalen Lucas, one of the big things is when you see him on scouting reports, when you're looking at NFL Combine, when you're looking at the NFL Draft, you want to see him having those explosive plays against Ohio State, because that means more than that explosive play being against Akron. And that's going to be my pivot point into being my defensive player is Andre Carter. He wanted to play big.
Yes,
he wanted to play big boy football. Man. Well, here it is. Welcome to big boy football. Pros versus pros matchups are often what scouts look at the most. So you have inexperienced quarterbacks who could be turnover prone. So a weak side pass rush should be a big fear for Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't know if he gets to them, but this is the game where you want to come out there and show that you belong and start putting your name on the map for potential NFL futures.
Yeah. That was my number one. I said that, and I'll tell you a little story here, a daydream story here in just a second. But I'm going to go with the guy opposite of him. I'm going to go with who should start again. We'll get into the too deep and all this other stuff here in just a minute, and whenever we get into the questions. But I'm going to go with Linnell Carr on the other defensive end, on the other side. I think that if you can expose one area, or what you should be able to expose, or if there is what on paper looks like a weakness outside of the quarterback position for Ohio State, it is both tackles. Both tackles, as well as the quarterback, will be starting their first game on Saturday. So if you've got two experienced defensive ends, one of them who I think is elite as far as a pass rusher goes in the country, I think he makes a huge play on Saturday. I think it's early. I'm not going to say that IU's going to win the game. We've already done the preview on that. I've got the scores right here in front of me. I think he makes a huge play, sets a tone. I think he's a menace all season, but I think he's a menace, especially against a big program day one with IU. So anything else you want to add on that before we move on? Nope. Here's the part where you guys need Patreon, because what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about Monon Track Club. And Monon Track Club, it's Indiana's running brand. They're built on a deep love for the sport and the Hoosier State. They craft products, tell stories, and create experiences that aim to celebrate, support, and add to Indiana's running culture. I'm pausing just for a second because I know that they hit the 30-second thing. Hold on. Wait a second. They hit the 30-second again. Now they're too far. Now they're backed up. They hit it. Okay. Check out the link in the show notes for more details on their club runs and to shop their sick gear from shirts to hoodies to koozies. As a thank you to our listeners, they're offering 10% off your order. Use promo code LEO10 at checkout. Buy $100 worth of stuff with that promo code. I'll give you a shirt. Seth and Brandon are real mad about that, but just do that. I'll give you a shirt. And guess what? Garrett, owner of Monon Track Club, getting married Sunday. Sunday wedding. You might be thinking, man, Sunday wedding, what a jack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Holiday weekend. It's Saturday number 2, Seth. Saturday number 2, and it starts early, 10:30 in the morning. We're getting out there for the brunch. Let's go. As if we didn't get drunk enough with him 2 weekends ago, we have to do it again on one day. Smash it all into a Sunday on the Lord's Day. We take him down, and he gets married. Go ahead and support him. You don't have to check out his, what do they call that? Registry. Just buy some stuff from him. Give him some money that way. Do that with LEO10 at checkout.
Hold on.
All right, back to the show. There's no way they skipped
first
that
of
whole
all
thing. All right, go ahead.
We made him listen to the episode last week, and he said we were spot on with as far as runners culture. So I feel totally secure. I thought we were going to get maybe some blowback on that. And then
no, we got blowback immediately because he didn't listen. I clickbaited him, and
then he also, if you look on the schedule for Saturday and Sunday, there are fun runs that we are not a part of. So
fun. Well, we could have been, but we don't.
Or is it Sunday and Monday? Maybe. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't know. What it is. God, Monday. Could you imagine?
It's culture,
Get
man.
Out of here. I'm mad at my kid's t-ball coach because he's like, we usually practice on Mondays, and Monday's a holiday, but. Yeah, we're going to still practice. Yeah. I'm like, my kid's not coming.
It's a holiday.
So it doesn't matter. It is a holiday. Thank you for laboring, whoever we're celebrating during this holiday.
It's us.
Okay.
We're the laborers.
No Brandos Randos.
Yes.
Oh, we are. Yes. It's for us. Should we do Seth's sack
I got one.
first?
Yeah, I got one. Let's empty it out.
All right, let's
All
get
right,
this out
so
of the
this
way.
is the
Get it out of the way.
hypothetical. I know Purdue's actually the toughest game of the season, so we'll just have to believe me on
Obviously.
this one. We'll have to make believe. Would you
Mm-hmm.
rather have your toughest
Mm-hmm.
game first, so that it makes the rest of the game seem a little bit easier by comparison, or play your toughest game last, so you have a season momentum experience behind you?
Oh man, is this
This
IU's
is
fan
you.
base
This is you.
that's judging
This
this,
is
or is this just me? I would rather get this out of the way. I've said this. I don't even know how many times, Seth. I think you know. I think this is the best time to catch them with a new quarterback. That's a huge piece in football. It doesn't matter if you're going to run the ball down our throat 50 times. To have a new quarterback back there, receiving snaps, cadence, all this stuff. First game of the season, they're going to try to wear him in. This is the time to get him. Get the toughest game now. Get it out of the way. You've got a cupcake next week at home again, Friday under the lights. I think this is the best way to do it. Even if we get smashed in a little bit, I think a good bounce back game the next week, that game's off your schedule. How many times has this game come up on the schedule the last 27 years, Seth? This game has come up on the schedule, maybe the last 20 some odd years. Come up on the schedule. We're already putting an L down. L. Give me an L. Give me an L on Ohio State. We're going to go 11-1, but we're going to lose to Ohio State, right? Every single year, there's Ohio State L, Ohio State L. Might as well get it out of the way now, right? Catch them when they haven't played yet. Catch them when they haven't gelled, hopefully, and get it out of the way. Do you
So I can only
agree
speak from
with
experience.
this?
We'd always play our toughest game was first game of the season in high school, and first game
At
of the
the end
season.
of the
And sometimes
season.
they'd
you meant
spank
Purdue.
us a little
Okay.
bit. And you'd come into that game off a summer practice. You'd kind of be, smelling your own farts a little bit, think you were pretty good. And they'd come in and smack us around. And then it made you kind of reset. It made you refocus on, we suck. And you kind of have to prove something to yourselves and build from a new starting point. And so we ended up, thankfully in a lot of those seasons progressing further. But it's a way of really, challenging who you are, and then setting a bar of what you have to rise to over the course of the season. So just be interesting either way, but I definitely think it's a great way to test your mettle and to, establish what a winning team needs to be over the course of the season.
Yeah. Sorry, he got choked up thinking about how bad he got beat in those first games up in Valpo. So he
Penn
couldn't
was
finish
tough,
what he was
man.
trying to say. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think Noblesville used to play like they'd play like it wasn't even like an official game. It was just like a jamboree, right? And that did you guys call it a jamboree? Like that kind of like first exhibition game? Did you guys not do
Not
like an
really.
exhibition game?
I mean,
You didn't
yeah,
do
we
one?
did a
So we would
scrimmage.
do
We did
one.
like a Friday night scrimmage against
Well, it would be like a
yeah.
scrimmage. Yeah. But ours would be against like Ben Davis, and it would be real bad, like real bad. And then we'd go in against like Anderson Highland and be like, oh, these guys aren't quite as good as that last team that just beat the living crap out of us. So yeah, there you go. Sorry for all the Anderson Highland alums that are listening to the podcast. God bless your city. So let's get back. Let's go back into what should have been Brando's Randos, but basically it's just me. Two things that I'm real upset about, especially on IU football social media. One, let's talk about the temporary South End Zone suites, Seth, and the incredible backlash that's happening from these people that don't understand two things. One, they're temporary. They are temporary suites. There are people that have paid for these suites that are being put into the South End Zone on the field level at some point.
So all I can say
right?
is the Purdue fans that have been sharing some fun and interesting memes with me think it's hilarious. I'll just say they think it's kind of puny. Yeah. They think it's kind of puny. They're like, oh, when you get real fans, you can get real suites. That kind of stuff.
Okay. Let me explain some things to people.
I'm just stirring the pot,
One,
baby.
that is one of the I understand. But one, that is one of the very few shaded places in that entire stadium. And I would pay, I don't even know
Preach.
how much money, especially this Saturday, to sit there, right? Two, there are suites in Memorial Stadium, believe it or not, already there. There are some in the north end zone, those red seats that you don't see very many people sitting in because they're exposed in the sun. They're inside that beautiful building that they put in the north end zone, eating food and getting drunk in there. There's another one in the south end zone. If you see those red seats in the south end zone, not very big, not a very big section, right above where it says Memorial Stadium, those are suites, not the standing room, which is a very expensive ticket up there as well. The section right underneath, those are suites. I don't want to hear that, oh, if you guys actually had real suites in your stadium, we have had suites and had suites for
Look how angry
years
he's
in that
getting.
stadium. These are
This is why we say
suites.
it.
I'm just saying, stop being stupid. And I'm not even talking to Purdue people. I'm talking to this is happening within the fan base about how embarrassing this is. These seats look so uncomfortable. Don't sit in the effing seats. You guys aren't even going to the game and you can't afford to sit there anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So shut up.
All right.
Shut up. Knock it off. Those are beautiful. I'd sit there all day long. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, let's move on. Kicker quarterback decision. IU is getting murdered about Tom Allen just saying, somebody asking about the kicking situation in the press conference, him answering the question honestly. We haven't named a kicker, which apparently they have.
Sean Ratcher gave us the silent nod, so we know who it is.
Well, he gave us the he's not really part of the team yet, but he'll be there at some point, and that's who they've named. Okay. That part of it is so irrelevant, and just one tweet from a guy that we love. I love him, but sometimes you got to keep some of these tweets to yourself because it's going to blow into something. I get you. You want to get the follows. You want to get the retweets. Just knock that shit off. Just stop doing that. That just does nothing but make us look bad, and that's what it did. Okay, I get it. 2, the quarterback thing and not releasing a 2 deep publicly before the game. Is that a big deal, Seth? Because let me explain to you some other programs that have not and have publicly said we are not naming a starting quarterback until the day of the game in front of the public. Okay. Are you ready? You ever heard of these schools? Alabama, Penn State, Michigan State. Those are just 3 that I know off the top of my head, right? And who cares who Michigan State's starting, right? But none of those teams are getting near the backlash that IU's getting for this. And it's mind-blowing. And why would you release a 2 deep? Who cares? The team knows who's on the 2 deep. That's all that matters. The coaches knows who's on the 2 deep. Why would we want to tell Ohio State who's on the 2 deep? Why would we even want to tell them? And we have to tell them 2 hours before the game starts anyway.
Well, I mean, matter. This is the whole ridiculousness of this is you're right, is certain teams aren't getting any blowback for it. IU is just an easy team to kind of bully up on. So it's
100%. But it's our own fans.
But I
that
assure
are doing this
you,
too.
There is an internal 2 deep, maybe even an internal 3 deep. These exist. Everybody knows where they stand. And yes, they may have 3 people listed as starter with oars next to them. You know, they have kind of the goofy ways of putting it all on there to make it inclusive for all the people to show there's an open competition. But everybody knows exactly where they stand. They know if they're a rotational player. They know if they're a standalone player. They know if they're the 3rd guy on the punt return squad. They know exactly where they are. There are a few pieces that are probably coming down to a few races that are coming down to the very last few days, but that's probably, but it's an open competition. You want that feeling, but there's probably only a couple that are really up for grabs.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just so dumb, but I think you said it. I think it's just very easy to be like, oh, look at IU, can't pick a kicker, can't do this, you know what I mean? And just so dumb. So, and that gets us right into the questions. And, at Indiana Edits, who's a good follow, if you want to follow him for some honestly, some good edited images as well as some really good football stuff. He asked, if you were the head coach, would you name a starting quarterback publicly or release a depth chart? We've already answered that. Our thoughts on the matter, we've already done that. But he also asked another question, we'll go ahead and get right to it. Where will I be tailgating? Or he asked, where will we be tailgating? But it's lot 2, south of Memorial Stadium. I'll have an LEO podcast. It's a black flag. I'll also have I'm assuming I'll just fly an IU flag instead of the traditional Arsenal flag that I fly. We'll put up a red script Indiana flag as well as a black LEO podcast flag with the new logo on it. I'm trying to think of the canopy. We'll probably have an IU canopy as well with whatever you call that, a shield or whatever with Memorial Stadium on it. So come over. Everybody's welcome to come over, unless you're an Ohio State fan, to come over and have a beer, have a shot. If you're an Ohio State fan and you're not a complete jackass, come on over. That's fine. But if you come over and try to spell a 4-letter word in my face as if it's some sort of an impressive thing that my 4.5-year-old upstairs that's asleep right now can't do himself, then you're not welcome at my tailgate. So, or in my stadium, but you guys somehow infiltrate that stuff anyway. So, and then on the same subject, Darren E., our boy Darren at Darren E. 464282 on Twitter, is Fireball the only shots you guys do at the tailgate? He did take a Fireball shot with us last year, and no, it's not. You were offered 2 different drinks, sir. You were offered a Fireball shot, or I think it was a Crown. I want to say it was some sort of Crown Vanilla or something, and you chose the former. So no, we will have I wouldn't say a decent selection, but we'll have some different stuff. And if you don't want to take a shot, just come over and grab a beer. You can sit down if you want and do whatever. Yeah, we'll just go from there. Seth, can you get the next question?
All right, this is from Drew Butler at dbutler3856. He says, "What? Oh, you forced this on me? This is awful."
I didn't mean to. No. I just wanted you to read one towards the end. I wanted you to be the one that read the last one. I didn't.
What is the perfect storm that gives IU the upset victory? Yes, I know it's probably not going to happen, but I want hope.
I think it's what we've already talked about. I think it is controlling the ball on offense. It's forcing takeaways on defense. And I think it has to be I think it's a perfect question. It has to be those 2 things, as well as a special teams score or a defensive score. I think those 3 things have to happen for IU to be there. You know what's funny though, Seth? Let me just go on just a little bit of a side rant, and then you can have it. We've had some bad teams. That Xander Diamont almost beat Ohio State, a very good Ohio State. I think a 3-deep quarterback national championship Ohio State team with Ezekiel Elliott on the team. Why can't this team do it? Right? But I think you have to have those 3 things.
Here are my 3 things. +2 turnovers. And I agree it needs to be a special teams or a defensive touchdown. 200 yards rushing.
Okay, that's a lot of rushing yards.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Those are my 3 things. Defensive, special teams, defensive touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, +2 on the turnovers and 200 yards rushing.
You had a long pause. Were you emotional?
No, I lost track of
this thing at some point?
Where my third one came from. I was like, oh, I already said them all. That's why it's 3. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. So our next question is from Shane Fisher. He's at DS Fisher 33 at Twitter. This is a tough one. I'm kind of doing this research right now, and I hate the first one that I pulled up. But the question is, if you could switch schedules with one other Big Ten team,
are we doing all Big Ten or just
in
East?
The first?
Okay,
all Big Ten. So the first 2 that I went to,
it has to go straight to the west, right?
Rutgers and Northwestern, right? But I think we have to go straight west. Nebraska, I'm going to pull up their schedule, and I'm going to pull up Minnesota's schedule because I feel like they
both
probably
have like
cake.
1 week Power 5 game.
They've got okay. Oh, this is last year. Why am I on last year's schedule? Come on, Big10.com, Big10.org. Okay, here we go. Dude, they do have a tough one. Minnesota has to
That's
go
the
to
one,
North
yep.
Carolina.
And then
Nebraska. Do they play
that's
Colorado?
the one.
They
Yep.
do. They're at Colorado. So it can't be either one of those teams. Purdue's got a kind of a sneaky tough. What about Illinois? What's Illinois got going on here? Illinois got Virginia. Dude, it's got to be Illinois. It has to be.
Yeah. I
Right?
wouldn't be mad about Illinois.
Let me see. Yeah, they've got what do we got here? 2020. Is this right? They haven't played Toledo already,
No.
have they?
That was last year.
Dude, the Big Ten.org, Seth, has Toledo, them beating Toledo 10-7 already with a 9-2 2023. Go ahead, guys. Take the under. I'll share the screen with Seth right now. Big Ten.org, Illinois football schedule for 2023. Toledo in Champaign. They have a W.
They have
10-7.
Toledo, Kansas, and Florida Atlantic as their non-conference.
Those
they
are
have Penn
and
State,
their crossovers
Maryland, and IU.
IU and Maryland. I mean, it's tough still.
No, I'd take that one.
That's tough still, man. I would take it too. What about Iowa? Iowa's got Iowa State.
Iowa State's their only tough one.
You know that's going to happen. Is Nevada still on their schedule? Nope. Utah State, Western Michigan, crossover games, Penn State, Michigan State, Rutgers. Dude, Iowa. I'm taking Iowa's schedule. They have to go to Penn State, to Iowa State.
Yeah, Penn State's their toughest game. Yep.
That's it. They may win 11 games. Looking at their schedule, just quick looking at their schedule. I think Iowa.
That's it.
Go ahead. Well, I mean, you've got the next question.
Sorry, this one's from @AmandaPavelka3, and this is, what makes a successful 2023 IU football season?
I think a bowl game. I think some people already answered that and we've answered it on the pod.
Right.
I don't care what the record is. It's got to be 6-6 minimum. Successful. We answered this last week with the Purdue preview. I think even if 5-7 happens, 5-7 with 2 trophies, I would say is just right at the edge of being successful. 5-7, competitive in big games, 2 trophies going home. I would say that's successful enough. But I think for me personally,
I think you're spot on. I think 5-7 you can sell progress. I think 6-6 is exactly where you need to be to sell the trajectory of the program, especially with what you would assume to be a redshirt sophomore quarterback coming back. That's a program you can sell to recruits and get people excited about. So I definitely think that 6-6 with a bowl game is exactly where you want to be. I think 5-7 with showing signs of progress is something you can also sell, but just not quite as flashy as a bowl season. I think 4-8 is kind of the bare minimum, so to speak. So that's really where you want to be, is in that 4-6 win ballpark. I know you don't, but I'm just
4. I've said that. I think 5-7.
I'm just saying, as far as maintaining momentum, you definitely want to be. I think 6 is exactly where you want to be. I think it's attainable.
Yeah. I think creating any sort of momentum is going to be 4, but one of those 4 has to be a big win.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be a bucket, or it's got to be in Louisville, or it's got to be somewhere where we're not probably favorite or ranked win. I think that's got to be a big one.
Can you guys even storm the field? I was looking at the stadium.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough from where I'm at. It'll be one of the watch shot situations. I don't mean to be that guy. I was there when it happened, but I was in section B, and I don't know, that's the way Assembly Hall is. It goes up on the side. Section B is kind of like on that side where I couldn't jump straight down. I couldn't, trample Dick Vitale or anything on my way down. I don't think I could do. I think if it happens, and I got enough upwind flowing through my veins. I just think
that IU needs that win that has like that moment that gets the fans, gets the students excited. And I just feel like the stadium doesn't really allow for that very well.
It does. It does. It does. If you, I mean, from where we sit, if you make one section over, I think you gain an additional like 5 rows down closer,
Okay.
and that's an easy jump down.
Well,
That's a few
that's
feet
what I
down.
think the program
that's
needs.
smart.
They need that splash. Oh God, I did it. I fell for it. They need that marquee moment that can go viral.
There you go. A next one on the list is from our boy Colorado Krugel at Colorado K04 on Twitter. I don't know if it's a 0 or if that's an Odegaard 4, like the O with the slash through it. I don't know.
Don't big boy
Maybe he's
soccer
Norwegian.
me.
What group? This is an easy one, quick one. What group has the most impact this year? Receivers or it's not easy. Receivers or running backs? Which group? Tons of depth, by the way, in both rooms, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that it's whether you go splash or function. It's do you want the guy who are going to, be the steady hand?
Where do you put Jalen Lucas in that
He's
room?
a splash.
He's in the running back room,
I don't
right?
know. He's a
Okay.
splash guy.
Splash.
Yeah, that's a tough one because he definitely bridges both of them. But I think it's going to be the running backs because they're the ones who have to first down and third down get things done. And I really think that their versatility is going to be key. And I think they have the depth to be a successful unit. I think the receivers can too, but I just think that they're going to be more in the Big Ten. It tends to be more running back offensive line focus. So I think we've had this circular conversation before. Give me running backs over receivers, probably 9 times out of 10.
I think that the receiver room is incredibly good. I really do. I think it's very deep. I think Omar Cooper is so he's incredibly talented, but is so far down the pecking list. Like this is one of the deepest, I think. And I'm not going to say overly talented because we've had some very good receivers, but a very deep receiver room where Donovan McCulley may be like the 4th receiver. And he looks incredible, by the way. Incredible in some of the highlights that we've seen. So I'm going to go back real quick to the running backs and then we'll move on to your question. But the running back room, I read some stuff. Do not be surprised if you don't see the redshirt sophomores make the field a lot. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about David Hollowell and Trent Howland, a lot of them out there on the field this season. So
again, I feel like I've been set up.
I didn't do this
as
on
a
purpose.
Purdue
I just read his name. I'm sorry. I just want you to read the last one.
You gave me Green Bay Hoosier at GB_Hoosier. How does IU secondary perform? Will they be able to stop the big play?
I think they perform okay and no.
Yeah, I think those are two separate questions, right?
I think that this game, I do think that this game is there will be 1 or 2 or more huge plays in this game. And they don't all have to come against our secondary. I'm just saying overall, I think just naturally the way that these games go, that there's going to be splash plays. Sorry to keep saying splash again. But I think that there's going to be some big time plays. And they're wide receivers. You can't hold them back.
I think you can sell me a game where they gave up 49 points and I can still be convinced that the cornerbacks played better than expected. I think that this is a matchup where, they can give up 200-yard receiving games and still it's like, well, that wasn't that bad.
We've done it. No.
So I'm not too worried about what the stats look like or what the score looks like. Again, it's the same way it was how I mentioned the quarterback position. I want to see young players showing poise and finding things they can build up off of. Maybe they get a deflection, maybe they get an interception, maybe they get something that they can say, oh, hey, when I made that read, I reacted in this way and this was the ultimate result, and I can hang my hat on. So that's what I think that we're looking for is guys who are showing flashes, who aren't scared of going up against top flight receivers, and who are then willing to hold their own next week against, the Akrons, the Louisvilles, the, whoever's. I think that's what you're looking for is who's able to hold their own and who doesn't get scared of the moment.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer. So the next one is from Hoosier Hype Man. He's all over Twitter for IUFB. It's at IUFB_hype_man. I can't imagine that entire without the underscores was already taken, but you do you. We love you guys. Thank you for following. Thank you for doing all the retweeting that you do. You're a major follower for us. He asked 67 questions in one tweet.
Right, let's do these one at a time. Yeah, let's do them one at a time.
Are you looking at it? I'll let you. No.
Sure.
You want to do all of them?
Some of them are yes and no.
Okay. How many touches does Jalen?
I say 12.
Get? Yeah, I'm with you. How many yards a game can you see him getting?
With 12, I'd expect 60 and probably, I'd say 50 yards of returning as well.
So over 100 yards all purpose. That's what I was going to say. Does Josh Henderson hit the question I asked him about him over 5 yards per carry this year? Improved offensive line from what we've heard.
He's done it before.
It's tough, man.
I think it was with like 7 carries. But
yeah,
I think he gets really close. I think anything over 4.5 is a hell of a projection. So I don't know if he gets to 5, but I think if he's over 4.7, 4.8, that's probably I'm going to get nerdy here and give you a win above replacement of like a 1 game. That's a 1 game over probably projection if he is at 4.8 yards per game.
So he only ran the ball 90 times last year. So if we double it and give him 5 yards a carry, he's nearly 1,000 yards rushing the football in that stacked backfield. I hope so.
I'd like to see him at about 150, 170 carries.
Yeah, you got to understand he's got Turner back there. He's got the 2 guys back there. He's got Lucas. It's going to be a stacked.
He's going to have to earn them. That's for sure.
How many points can we put up? Against Ohio State? I've talked about Xander Diamont scoring, I think, 40 points against this team twice, I think. Man, how many can we put up? I mean, we can put up somewhere in the low 30s. I don't know, man. It's hard to pinpoint that. We've done our predictions. If you want the predictions again, real quick, we'll do them at the end of the pod.
I think to feel good about yourself, you need to put double digits up, and I think your max is 20. I think that's probably the max points you guys put on the board.
So you're talking, I mean, over under.
Well, they're
60.
saying that's 45-15.
So
is if you're saying
20s.
It's minus 30 and the over under is 60, that's 45-15. So
I understand. I mean, I've already put money on it when
I know you did. DraftKings thanks you.
Against it. Yeah, they can take I think I put $5 on it. So go ahead. Can we pressure the quarterback without blitzing? We've already answered that question. Yes, I think so. I think that they're inexperienced offensive tackles versus 2 very experienced, very high level. One of them coming from a Power 5 school, the other one coming from a Group of 5 school, but an incredible athlete should be able to get pressure. You agree?
I would think so.
I'm not saying,
but
every
certainly more
time.
than last year.
I think that you're going to have to see some. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I definitely think up the middle too. I think Philip Belidi, or Belidi. I really wish I knew how to say his last name perfectly. I think he's a big addition to that defensive line. I think he's going to make a huge difference and at least take up 1 or 2, hopefully 2 every time of those offensive linemen. So, and is our D-line better than our linebackers? That's actually kind of a tricky question. I don't know. I think I would say deeper. I think the overall talent is deeper, right?
I think there's more pieces.
I don't know, dude, because you got Brandon Jennings who started last year, who may not see the field nearly as much as he did last year because there's solid studs starting in there.
It's a good problem to have.
That's a tough question. It is a good question. A good problem to have. Good 1,000 questions. Thank you very much. for your follows and your retweets. Keep them up. All right. You've got a silly one. Oh, no. Before we get to the silly one, real quick, we had a late one from Justin Zirkle. It's at Justin_Zirkle on Twitter. He's so excited. So many questions. And we just read all of them except for one. Coach Bob's impact. More on the running game or pass protection?
I don't think that matters. I think that's a BS question. I think the answer is more the attitude. I think what Coach Bob brings, and if you listen,
I think he means
sorry,
that
I meant that in a nice way.
Yeah.
I think what Mike said last week when I talked to him, or earlier this week when I talked to him, is that he has brought an attitude with him. It's apparent in the film room, it's apparent on the practice field, and it's apparent in the way that he goes about living his life. It's an attitude. And I think that's what a lot has been missing from IU teams in the past of offensive linemen, is there hasn't been that edge. There hasn't been that ruggedness. There hasn't been that battle-tested mentality. And Bob has been in the trenches with some great Wisconsin offensive lines, created some great running games with them as he was their coordinator for their run games. He has pro experience. We talked about the Titans and the Bucks. This is a guy who brings an arrogance about him in a good way, about this is how offensive linemen play, and this is the expectation we have. And so there can't be anything but positives coming from that.
Love it. He asked a kind of a second question, and you don't have to answer it, but he said, could we see IU turn into more of a run-first style offense? I think we saw it. I think we saw it when Walt Bell had a quarterback that he wanted, a quarterback that fit his system. Do I think it'll be as run-first as what it was with Dexy? No. I just don't think that. I love Dexy, love him. I think we'll see him a lot this year. I don't think that he is a pass-first quarterback. I think he's an incredible athlete that needs to have his legs do the talking. And I do think we'll run the ball a lot. I think we'll see some more passing than what we saw with Dexy, though. All right, go ahead.
All right, this one's
Last
from our
question.
buddy Bouge, at JBouge24. Thanks again for this one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Tom Allens or one horse-sized Tom Allen?
I have like one follow-up question to that. Like, are all 100 duck-sized Tom Allens
Of
there
course.
at once?
It's not
Okay.
like a kung fu movie where they come at you one at a time either. Like, these ducks are smart enough to like horde and flock on top of you.
A horse size. I mean, damn, dude.
I hate
tough.
geese. Okay.
I think the duck. I mean, a duck is not nearly the size,
But
of a
they still have the
goose.
same like
Give me
aggressive.
I'll take the ducks, man. I feel like you can kick a duck. Damn,
A horse will kick you
bro.
in a second.
A
horse
just
will
don't get
rearrange your
behind it.
face.
A horse will rearrange more than your face. It'll rearrange your entire groin, is what it'll do. And that's the part I'm worried about. The ducks, that's death by a thousand nips, I guess. Nips isn't like tiny bites.
We got it.
Yeah. I didn't want it to.
I think there's a
taken
fighting
anywhere else.
chance against a duck. I think a horse wins every time. Unless you have like a spear or something. They didn't.
Well, yeah, there's just so many side questions we could have to this. Like, what are we fighting?
I don't know.
with?
I assume it's
Do
our
we
bare
have
hands,
weapons
and
available?
that's why I think I have a better chance against ducks.
You know, if he wasn't like a Purdue person. Although, if you look at his Twitter account,
All right.
he does have Tom Coverdale spinning a basketball as his profile picture. The man, the myth, the legend, the Noblesville Miller, Mr. Basketball, 1998, Tom Coverdale.
Yeah, that's community pride. That's not
a great
IU
question.
pride.
Great question. That's whatever. Okay,
Let's get into it.
We're gonna wrap up here in just a second. Predictions, we've already done
What
it.
was mine? I don't remember it.
Seth has this as a loss. We had him all of us have it as a loss. Seth has it, the final score as IU 13, Ohio
That's
State
close to what I had up there.
49. Brandon has it as a loss as 17-45. I also have it as a loss, 17-31, a much closer game. than what the other two have. I just don't think that either team's going to be. I'm hoping I'm wrong about IU. I really do think that I will be wrong about IU. I just don't think that either team is going to be ready to go. Week 1, high-level opponent.
So
we'll see what happens. I've seen this game. I've seen this game in person before.
I definitely think that there is a difference. This is one of the probably 2 or 3 games in the season that there's a difference in recruiting profiles and scouting reports where they just don't quite match up. So I think that's that's a slight edge that you have to give Ohio State. And the one other thing that I did notice from last week that's going to be interesting is there is a new timing rule. So there is no clock stoppage after first downs anymore, except for in the last 2 minutes of the second and the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So scoring could be down just a little bit as you pay attention to overs and unders moving forward. Just a little bit.
Have you seen the stat on how much time that saved? 3 minutes. An average of 3
actual
minutes
time,
is what that
or
saved. Overall game, like the length of the game, it saved an overall average of 3 minutes.
So,
from what I read,
just beware of that.
Yeah, I don't have a reference for you. Starting quarterback prediction, Seth. We don't have one from Brandon, but I think I know who it is. Who's starting?
Travion Davis.
That's not his name. His
Sure.
name is Taven Jackson. Okay, Seth will tweet out. I don't think you need to tweet out the scores. Do you want to tweet out starting quarterback?
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I'll do quarterback.
Why don't you just do that? And then also tweet out Bouge's question. Both of them on a poll. We need to know the answers to both of them. Final statements. Do you have anything else you want to add? We're just a smidge over an hour. No.
I want IU to win this game. I want everyone to be aware of. I play a character some of the time on this, but I am rooting for abject chaos. There is nothing that would make me happier than in week 1, Ohio State, the mighty Ohio State Buckeyes just get absolutely destroyed in Memorial Stadium by IU. Nothing would make me happier. Let me say that.
I don't. How mad would the basketball fans be, though?
Well, Notre Dame's going to win, so it's fine.
God, could you imagine? My goodness. Well, we all thought that they were going to beat Marshall last year, too, but that didn't turn out too well. Okay, moving on. Again, tailgate reminder is going to be in lot 2. We will tweet out a picture. I will try. From what we've heard, there's improved cell phone service out there, so I will do
I can't wait to get a text message at 6:30.
Tweet it out.
Damn, cell phone still sucks.
Right? Yeah, worst case scenario, I'll try to send a picture iMessage to Seth. And
can't wait for the green bubbles.
Right? Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably going to happen. So, I feel like I was going to say something else, but I don't remember. I got sidetracked. It doesn't matter. It's been fun. Be sure to check out the pod on Twitter, Instagram, Threads. All of them are at Podcast LEO. Check out the website, podcastleo.com. And be sure to follow our new partner on all of those platforms. They're at Big Banter Sports for all the latest updates involving our podcast, as well as the other editions added weekly, which I don't think they're doing anymore. This is an old one. I'm just reading.
We'll have Washington and Oregon, USC and UCLA. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
He'll have
true.
to get his calling cards out.
That's true.
Do the long distance. Is that still a thing?
Calling cards. I think people that listen to this podcast are probably going to know what calling cards are. I remember using them, but I think my dad or
people even know what long distance calling is anymore. Is that
the car? I don't know.
Is that part of lexicon? You used to have to pay to call people farther away from you.
Yeah. Cell phone minutes, all that stuff, dude. I used to get
boomers,
trouble, bro. I know, right? Be sure to download, rate, review, and follow on all of our platforms. If you guys haven't reviewed, you want to review this new intro? So you guys were clamoring for it. I think it's pretty good. I'm excited to show you guys and tell you guys.
I need a
start
list of the people clamoring, please. Yeah,
I have to go back through like the one guy that tweeted at us to tell us about it. Join us again for our next episode as we recap the historic victory over the Buckeyes. Until then, we love you guys.
LEO.